Hello, welcome to the Envar Autumn Vibes Winter Portfolio Review session. We have our team here today. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves. Atey, do you want to go first?
No, Iveta, go first.
Hello everyone, my name is Iveta. I'm an illustrator here and a concept artist. And I come from Lithuania, a small country in Europe. That's about it.
Want me to go next?
Go for it.
Hi guys, my name is Ben, concept artist here at Envar Studio. I am from Thailand, but I live in Sweden.
Oh, Abby, you wanna go?
Oh, sure. So, my name is Abby. I'm also the community manager for Envar Studio. Any socials? Met some of you guys at Lightbox, which was really fun. I don't have a webcam, sorry. But yeah, it's I'll be I guess emceeing this whole thing. So very excited to talk to the winners and check out their portfolios.
Yeah, some awesome entries. I'm Atey, I'm the creative director and founder, and I'm really excited to look at all the beautiful work you all submitted. Should we dive into it, Abby? Do you want to bring in the winner?
I'll just brief real quick, in case some of you guys missed it, we had an art contest recently, spanned for about a month. The concept was Autumn Vibes, and the winners would receive a portfolio review from us, as well as like Discord Nitro. So we'll present the winners today. I'll drag the first one into call. It'll be Magi. And then actually, do you want to look at their work as well before we dive into the review?
Yeah, they can pop in and join us, and we, give a maybe brief
into their piece. Here, I'll drop you the link for the winning pieces as well, so that we can also look at that. And I'll go grab them now.
Awesome. I love this one.
We got someone to kidnap.
Andalusia.
Hello.
Hey, Magi.
Sorry, I was
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Oh well. Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Do you want to give a brief introduction, Magi?
Yeah, sure. I'm Francisco Fonsalida. They call me Magi. I'm from Chile. I'm 31 years old, and I used to be an electrical engineer and drop out to pursue art. Yes.
Oh, Maki, by the way, if you wanted to have your video, it does reset when I drag you into the other call.
Oh, okay. Give me a second. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Congratulations are in order, Maki. Absolutely fantastic piece. Do you want to talk a little bit about your thoughts behind it, and then we can maybe dive in with some of our own thoughts to it.
All right. So this piece was mainly inspired by some art by Kevin Nutzmans and you, Atey. I was watching some of your videos and plus some of the Kevin. Then I really like to implement a bit more of 3D in the process. So I was looking, and Kevin has a live stream where he details his process. So I watched it a couple of times and basically thought of this idea of initially one girl walking towards something like a water deposit, some ruins, and basically I just wanted to explore and see what I learned.
Oh, cool. I can maybe start, and then Iveta, Ben, feel free to chime in. I think this really hits on the autumn vibes, and that's one of the main topics or criterias for the brief. The subject matter as well. I think it's really cool. It adds a really nice, fun atmosphere. The story is really clear. It's just as a whole a very successful piece that I think you did really well on.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree. I really like this piece very much. At first thought, I think this is like a very nice cover for a new upcoming manga, anime or something. Like you want to like explore in this world what's going on and what's happening, and you want to like dive into it. I think this is like hitting really much. Like yeah, big point. And I saw some of your process. I think this is like, so pretty good, pretty interesting.
I agree with my colleagues as well. I really liked the immersion that the characters give you, like the whole sense of like them walking towards some goal and being happy about it. So as if they just accomplished finding the place in the light. I really like how you differentiated the shadows with the cold tones and the warmer tones in the light in the distance. Yeah, and yeah, obviously the whole autumn vibe theme is really on point with this one.
Yeah. I think if we're looking to areas to improve it, like if we try to really think about the focal point, this is like everything, right? And for me, whenever composing images, I try to really think of like, what can I add that will really overemphasize this? And to me, a big thing is contrast, and like we're starting to have areas that have a lot of contrast that maybe isn't as important as this. You know, like this is pretty detailed. It's black against white. It stands out a lot. Something like that could probably just fall off, and we can still have the sign. Could maybe just dip it down a little bit, or maybe place it in front of them to just really make sure that her head and the silhouette's the thing that pops. We could have even maybe pulled in a little bit more clouds in here as well to really just make her stand out as much, because stealing a little bit too much attention for the image.
One thing that I will also maybe try to recommend is the cloud. I think you can actually explore a bit more on the shapes and the color, because I think it's a little bit gray to the shadow on
Clouds?
it and the clouds, yeah.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
the brush stroke, you can see it. I think you use a lasso tool on the shape and then draw on top. I think it's pretty interesting, but maybe explore a bit more to make it more fit into the whole sense of the rest of the area.
Can see it.
On top of that, I can add one thing as well. The goal that they're seeing, this like Colosseum building, I feel like maybe the shapes are a bit unclear. They could be more maybe separated by values, maybe just by different colors, but there must be some contrast there to like understand better where the arcs are, where they end, and stuff like that in the distance.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. Yes. Do you think the contrast on the character was a bit too much compared to the background?
No. Can push it even more. You know, like I think for me is like even looking at some of the whites here. Like one thing we talk a lot at the studio, we want to be careful with blowing out the brighter values all the way to white. Think of it as like the cherry on top, right? Really saving it for the hot spot. You know, in this case, probably be the tree. But even that, we probably wouldn't push it all the way to white. You know, the clouds, if we reduce the contrast on them, it could also again help reinforce the focal point, so we don't get those hot spots sort of spread out too much in the image.
That makes sense.
Cool. We'll take a stroll through the portfolio. Is there something specifically that you would like to have feedback on? So, you know, because I think there's so much we can.
Yeah, it's fine. I think the near the beginning to the moon pieces, the work I made for. Keep going. No, one more. More.
This?
Up. No, up.
I'm all the way to the top.
The wargame maze for Freebird games. The previous one.
I think it was the third slide, so the one right below this one.
I think
This
they're the third page.
Is it
I think my
this?
stream froze. Yeah, this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what the last word I did. Then the most recent I really shares some thoughts.
Oh, I
on
love
it.
this game.
You had the
My
go
my
for it.
question is that the background, is this like mostly use it, or do you like use your 2D fundamental to execute it, or is it like mostly 3D?
No, I start with a 3D blockout and paint mostly on top of it. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
one thing as well, like when presenting work, like, because when there's so much of this like clamped together and you have the sample stamp over it, it doesn't feel like it's being presented, right? You know, these are like the highlights of the portfolio that you want to showcase. Give them the space, give them like a full page for us to really digest it, to just take in all the information. And as a whole across the portfolio, aside from this, it's like
Okay.
there's a lot of information, you know, and it feels like none of it gets highlighted, except I think it was this one where it's like even with this one you have all the extra stuff that we just, you know, we want to see a few images that really are like that you're proud to present, you know, because when these get clamped down, we don't get to experience them in their in the full glory.
Yeah,
you're
that's true. It does look a bit cramped in.
a bit too much.
Yeah, with the text as well. It's pretty.
Oh, the text
block
in
of
this
text.
case, yeah, in this case it was mostly because the project wasn't released yet, so I asked my client to put this for this review in particular. But yeah,
There's also, I think, about the works. Maybe I zoomed in a bit on them, but maybe there could be a better controlling of the details, where you place the most detailed areas in the photos. I think it goes throughout all of your portfolio as well. Like your focal points are usually not as detailed as some other thing that you selected before. So maybe with the lavender field, like all of the lavender buds are really detailed. The stars are also creating a lot of visual noise. I think instead of all of that, we could be focusing more on the characters, which are more like of a focal point. Maybe that's how you could like tone it down on the details throughout all of the image, but try to place the most detailed parts more near the focal point.
I think that's a really good point, because whenever you use photography and you have painting, it's like you have a mismatch in density of detail. Like the photography is going to have so much information and the painting is not going to have as much, right? So when you put it together, like you want to massage it in, right? Like you want to either bring down the level of detail in the photography or bring up the level of detail in the painting, just so it feels like it's cohesive and it doesn't feel like mashed together as much.
Yeah, makes total sense. Yeah, I admit I put a bit too much detail on all places.
Yeah, but it's beautiful work, you know. And this is just some of the thoughts we have, and I think like I don't know if you all want to look at any other pieces before we jump to next one. Oh, go ahead. Who?
Me.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I also recommend to I mean all of the work you did. I think this is like great and fantastic. 3D is a big plus. But I think I will encourage to do more hand painting rather than like use 3D or photo bashing, because you will learn less and you will be more forgotten about fundamental.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I will encourage to do more of them and do more study on environment.
Thank you. Yes, I'll do it.
I personally really like that all of the colors in the whole portfolio are very nicely selected, in my opinion. They're all working well with each other. So I think that's your like one of the strongest points that you have is which colors you use.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
So,
go ahead.
So last question, just one answer, quick answer. What do you think is the weakest skill that I must improve?
I think from my side is understanding like the stuff we talked about before, a little bit detail distribution and sculpting the form, you know? Because in some of these images, like we end up getting a few forms that doesn't have as much volume as it could be, and the light gets a little bit muddy. And I think that's something that if you can really iron that out, like in this one, it feels more solid, you know. But in some pieces, it doesn't quite hit those high notes. And it's, you know, as a portfolio, like the thing that's important is consistency, you know, that always is the same thing. And like, you know, as an employer, when I look at portfolios, I look as like, all right, can this person consistently do this thing, you know? Because from a working perspective, it's just really important. That's something I would love to see more of, to just everything is sort of hitting the same bar in your portfolio.
Yeah, I have to agree.
It gets easier as well if there's less pieces. That's also one thing.
Yeah, I'll make a new one. Don't worry.
Cool. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for entering the contest.
Yeah. Awesome piece.
Yeah,
congrats again.
That's very fun.
Yeah, fantastic work.
Thank you.
All right. Maybe we can hop to next one, Abby.
Sure. Thank you so much again, Magi. Let's see, JL, I will bring them in just a moment. Hello.
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 Oh, I'm not sure if you were planning on using Micronauts, but there is the no mic chat as well.
We will just dive into the piece if he doesn't have a mic. Ben, you want to go first?
I have a mic.
Oh, there you go.
That's yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Jean-Loup. I am 30. And I have a scientific illustration degree, and I have made outside game art school in France. So I live in France, in Bordeaux. And now I'm a junior concept artist in freelance since 1 year about.
Awesome. Cool. Congrats on the beautiful piece for the contest.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ben, Iveta, you two, any of you want to start?
You want to go first, Iveta?
Okay. So what I love about this piece is when I saw it, I instantly was like, my eye was directed really well from the left side where the people are. It's very contrasty, that area, into the robot. And it's something that I think is super cool because it relates to the idea of those kids discovering the robot and me as a viewer also discovering the robot. So I think what she did with the leading lines of the shadows and the light towards, including the snow, towards the robot is super cool. I also really like the snow and the autumn theme, that you mixed it up together, so it's not it's not like it's hitting the idea of autumn vibes, but it's also not something you see that often. I think the blue and the yellow are really nice together.
Yeah, to echo that as well, I think the color palette's really beautiful. I'm personally a fan of snow because, like, especially with nature, it gives you just another layer to massage and play with the shapes and just like make things look cool instead of ending up with a lot of detail in the vegetation itself.
Mm. I really love all the color in this piece, and the robot, of course. The first sight I see this piece, I'll be like, holy shit, this is so epic. But the one thing that I get a sense that something is missing. I think the perspective or the area of the wood and the character pointing at the or looking at the robot. I think the story a little bit off. Maybe you can maybe like I think the thumbnail can help like explore the story by doing thumbnails. I think that can be a good way to come up with more interesting story with this exact same scene.
Okay, I see.
If that's understandable.
Yeah, yes.
To follow a little bit what Ben is saying, I think the narrative could be improved, you know? Because like when I look at this, I try to imagine, right, they're walking through the forest and the snow is slowly melting and they discover this robot that maybe has been buried for a while, right, during the autumn, you know? But when we look at it, it's like the light is on, so it looks like he's activated, he is in dormant, you know? And I think if he is active, I think the gesture needs to represent that because it looks like he's meant to be dormant, you know? And I think we could have maybe buried him a little bit more to really make sure that he feels like he's just coming out of the snow as it's melting.
Okay, I see.
Can I ask if this is like also designed, or do you have like any sheet design of this character?
Sorry?
Do you have like a design sheet on this robot character, or is this like painted?
I paint it. I have not designed sheet more. I paint it several times until I have this design. Maybe I should have made a design sheet on another piece of.
Yeah, it would be also
paper.
interesting to see the
To see the process
character.
and.
I think the silhouette is a little bit hard to read, especially the leg.
Okay.
It's a little bit black, blending into the background. Overall, I think the shape is looking promising, very stylized.
What do you think, Iveta?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Also, my another idea I had when looking at this was, I think the amount of details that you put in certain areas also could be more how to say controlled. I would just reserve all of the details towards the robot maybe, or around the kids, but currently you have some areas that are pretty contrasty right around the edges of the image, you know, like where the trees are with the light, or if on the right there's also like this tree that you put in there in the front. It kind of gives it off like enclosed vibe as well. That's a different note, but yeah, the details and the maybe depth of the image could be improved upon.
Totally.
Yeah, I think it's thinking about how you're designing the light, you know? Because while you're designing the robot, you're designing the space, the light and how it works in the image is a big part of it, you know? And you can really choose to not add stuff in contrast and like keeping it a little bit more consistent, because we have the long cast shadows here, right? So we kind of feel it's meant to be a strong light, but here it ends up getting a little bit more softer. You know, we could have just used that to lead us even more aggressively towards the robot itself and just have the cast shadows, you know, cover up some areas here, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Can be just pushed more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want us to look maybe at some other pieces? Do you have any questions or thoughts around this?
Thank you. You have said a lot of things that can help me, I think. So maybe you can see another piece of my folio.
Is there one that you want to talk about in particular? For us to look?
Especially, maybe you can help me about the environment, I think.
This one?
Yeah, this one and the other.
Okay. Let's look at this one.
I try to make a lot of environments. I spend 3 hours about maximum on each one. So I try to be more efficient in my environment process. So maybe you can help me with this.
What do you think, Iveta, for bringing more efficiency into the workflow?
They're all very different. I think if we could look at the first one and the second one, I have some points. So the first one has the same points that I made before with the details. I think the trees being very scattered as shapes in the background are very distracting, especially like towards the end of the image. It's really distracting viewer's eye to look to the side of the image, but there's not really any reason to do that there, so it kind of pulls you out of the image. Some of the branches are also indicating that as a line of high direction. But on the second one, I feel like there's too little contrast. I think you could pull it even further with the person standing there in the fog, because currently you have like a dark value on another mid value. Maybe you could have chosen the rocks in the distance to be somewhere else, so that it would have been a bit more contrasty in terms of like a very dark value on a very light value.
I really like the first piece. It has really interesting story. One thing that I think could be a little bit more interesting is that the rock in the middle, I think it can be removed and place it a little bit more sideways and place the character in the middle and have some strong light, like sunlight shooting down through all the trees, hitting the ground where the character is standing, where it creates the focal point right there, and he looking up on the magical tree. And I think the background has many stripe of trees. I think it's a little bit distracting. I think it will be more create some mood if you blend a little bit more values to the background. And more like a foggy to create more moods on the ground.
More atmosphere and okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
overall,
if you...
I think it's fantastic. Yeah, sorry.
No, you go, man.
No, I said it all. Sorry.
Yeah, I think if you try to think of takeaways, just like, you know, designing with your light, trying to think of how you're stacking up the values, trying to find ways of adding more depth to the images, and just, you know, controlling of how you design your imagery with the lighting and the values as a whole, I think will help a lot. Cool. All right. Thank you so much again for taking part of the contest, Abby. Do you feel like you got some good notes for your future ventures?
Yeah,
explored?
totally.
Awesome.
Thank you very much to you guys.
Thank you for entering.
Thank you for entering, and
Thank you
congratulations.
for the opportunity.
Congratulations, yeah.
Really
Thanks.
fantastic work. Keep it up, man.
Mm.
Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, Evan will type in the chat so I can
Yes.
have a. I'll be Evan's voice. I can do
Okay. Okay.
or Abby can
Alright.
do it. I don't know.
Wait, Evan just disappeared. We
Mm.
might go on to Santi in the meantime.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Let's do
Alright.
I will not be Evan's voice.
that.
The color scheme of this is so autumn like.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Or
Oh
feel
wait,
it.
Evan
spring.
is back.
You
Alright.
can be the
doing
voice,
Evan?
Iveta.
Sorry. Hello. Oh wait, they're deafened.
Hello, Ivan. Welcome and congrats to your contest.
Yeah. I think he has. I don't know if he has audio.
Oh
or
yeah,
actually-
Evan cannot hear.
Apparently,
We'll
no,
just-
maybe for the stream.
We'll just dive into it. What do y'all think of the piece?
I think it's very cute.
Really fantastic rendering. Insanely.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the areas are a bit detailed again with the details. The first time we say that, but it seems to be a theme throughout.
Yeah. It's tricky, right? To know where to detail, where not to detail. Like it's really easy to just wanting to give each surface some love and care, but I think it's a whole nother skill set to know where to put that care, you know. And like for me, it's like the general approach I try to think of, like, you know, either like we put a lot of emphasis in the light and then we soften in the shadows, or maybe sometimes you reverse it, you know, you put more emphasis in the shadow and less in the light. It helps create a balance as a general baseline.
I don't know what to say about this beer, but I like it very much. I think I can say.
I would love to see. Sorry, I would love to see some sketches and process videos for this one.
Yeah,
It would be very interesting. Sorry, I cut you off, Ben.
It's okay. I think I would say the shapes can be a little bit more exploring. If you look at the head, it's tilting a little bit 3 and 4 quarter. But if you look at the ears, I think it's facing like straight, and it's not constructed to the head shape. So I think the ears a little bit off, and the gokos is a little bit bending. If you compare it to his left arm, the left one looks more correct compared to the right one.
Yeah.
The right one looks more bending. So if you do more of constructing and make it more believable, I think it would be more extra interesting piece. This would be amazing. Other than that, I think this piece is incredible.
I think for me as well, I just realized the fairy here, because I was looking at her to Tristana's, like, where is she looking, you know? And then I saw this, and I think, you know, when I thought it was like, is she looking at a butterfly or something? But I think when there's something like that, like a little bit of a story element, we can emphasize this a little bit more, you know? You don't want this to be the main area of focus, right? But it's like, I think it was a little bit hidden for me to try and discover what that was, but you know, just a small thing.
really love all the characters in the background. All have variation
So
of
fun.
expression. A pig.
It's like
A pig
Poro.
can fly.
Yeah, it's like a Poro with wings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I think
lighting is very cool.
yeah.
Mm.
I think the thing that I love about this is so immersive, you know. The lighting is feeling really good, you know, the overall feel, and all the different characters are so unique. You know, you have this one which is like, get me out of here, I'm just gonna go do my thing. You have Lulu, which is like doing her cheerful thing. Tristana's excited. This guy's just confused about life, you know. I think it's just a really fun combination between expressions and characters.
Mm. I really love the poster on top. It's like a hidden Easter.
Which one?
The right corner.
Oh,
Can see it.
Building.
that's cool.
I don't know what the red is. I assume it's not blood.
No, I think it's these fairies that just
Oh.
flying away.
Yeah, I think it can be a little bit more interesting if you put down the poster and not on top of the tower. I think.
Yeah.
And the fairies can be a bit more placed to the more in the mid ground because at my first glance I thought it was blood on top of the poster.
I think
you-
getting a
you-
little. Sorry, go for it.
Sorry, I think it will make sense if you see a poster and you see a wanted poster and the second thought is red because poster and wanted blood is related, so kinda it does not give me that read.
I think getting more a little bit on the right side of feedback is like for Yordles. They're and it's difficult, you know. Their faces are furry, right? But it's not like a teddy bear furry. It's like a balance, and it's finding ways of breaking the silhouette just a little bit. I see you have it here and a little bit here, but when you have a first glance, it looks pretty clean, and it's like it needs just a little bit more of that fuzzy feel to it. But it's also easily going overboard, so you gotta be careful with that. But I think it's something definitely to consider for, especially like riot-related Yordles.
And also the tree. I think you are trying to create a shapes through leaves. I think you did pretty good, but I think it can be a little bit more exploring because the shapes here look not quite interesting yet. I think who is it? David. There's an traditional artist. He explained how to if you draw a tree, there will be like a shapes, interesting shape through the tree. Otherwise, I think you can explore a bit more.
Cool. Let's just do one more piece. I'm gonna give to you, Iveta. What do you think?
This one. I often be on the Discord channel where people can work together, and Evan asked me about this one for feedback before. So I don't know if I should start with this one.
Well, what kind of feedback did you give, and what would you like him to see
So-
push additionally?
I gave feedback about the line in the middle that I thought it looked like a horizon line, and and it's a bit weird in that sense that the camera is from top down, but the horizon line is there, and it's like in the whole composition super sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think there's a village down here, and I think, you know, definitely there could be areas improving it as a whole.
there were also these butterflies on the piece, and I said maybe to remove them because they were making a lot of unneeded noise. So I'm glad to see that he listened to that advice.
I think
Yeah.
this one. Sorry, you want to add anything else?
No.
I think it's fun when I look at this. There is like VFX is so fun, you know, and it can really add so much to an image, you know. And I look at like this, you sort of have the jade thing, and you have some stuff falling off of it. You have the smoke coming off his shoulders, and you have the mask, you know. And I think when it comes to VFX, like we gotta just with everything in an image, we gotta balance it. You know, there gotta be something that is like, this is the shot is like if I was doing this, everything would go to the mask. Like this is he's like putting on the mask or just taking it off, and all the VFX and contrast and everything should be placed around that. Maybe there's some sparks or some shadow coming off the masks itself, because I don't see. I'm guessing the shadow is like maybe came out of a form, so that's why it's dissipating. But I think there could be so much more love and focus around just this moment here to make it really shine.
I will also add the proportion to arms. I think they look a little bit off. If you see the perspective and try to understand, like the his left arm should point more a little bit towards the camera. I think this perspective is more like fisheye, I assume. So it would be more sense to have a bit elbow pointing at the camera. I think would look pretty more interesting.
Yeah.
Evan is asking in chat what makes a shape interesting enough.
I
Do
think
you guys wanna?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. You know, it's like I remember particularly like when we were doing the Valorant work, it's like the focus was to do cool shapes, you know. But what is a cool shape? And I think it's a balance between the size of it, the placement of it, like the how it looks. You know, does it have sharper edges, softer edges? And I think it has a little bit with considering the form and shapes and how to help it emphasize the overall gesture. It is super difficult to like pinpoint it, but it's I guess it's like a taste thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is design.
Yeah.
Yeah, we design the shapes however we want to from our heads. Because we can just draw an image from imagination, so we can choose what kind of shape to use. And I think everything that Atey said, and also maybe purpose of the shape. Sometimes shape can be influential to the composition.
Yeah.
Like leading shapes and stuff.
Cool. All right, we gotta go to next one. Thank you again for the submission, Evan. Really awesome work on this one.
Yep.
Amazing work,
Very
Evan.
cute.
Cool. Let's do Santi as well. And this is great, actually seeing sketches. I know he's not here yet, but like I love seeing this, because for me it's like seeing the thought process is almost just as important as the final image.
Hello, Santi. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, Santi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Fine. Looking at listening to the feedback that you guys gave the other guys, and yeah, learning a ton.
Do you want to give a brief introduction and maybe tell us a little bit about your piece?
Sure. Well, I'm Santi. I'm 22 years old, and currently this is my first year working as a freelance, maybe doing illustration and character design. And yeah, this piece I wanted to do something related to the theme, right? Of course, and but maybe give it a twist, something like, I don't know, darker mood.
Yeah.
And yeah, focusing on narrative, because I think it's one of my weakest points for sure. I don't
Yeah.
know if I have something to tell or not, and this is what I'm looking at, looking to improve right now.
Yeah. There's definitely a narrative in here. It's pretty clear. I don't know who wants to start. Ben, Iveta?
I can go.
Maybe Ben can start, yeah.
Amazing work, I have to say. This is like one of the pieces that give me the scary impression when I see this expression and the headless guy, and the way he did the finger, making him smile because he's already dead. That's really scary. And really amazing piece, I have to say. But I think one feedback I could say is the anatomy and proportion could be a little bit more fixed, especially the feet and
Yeah.
the arms and the way the pose of the hands, how we hold it, make it more interesting, not make it more stiff, like don't make it lining up like this, make it more like the way how you want to express the way you did to the pose and this the face. Overall, I really like the whole piece, the sense of this. Amazing, really amazing. Great job, man.
You're too nice, man. Thank you for the feedback.
What do you think, Iveta?
I agree with Ben. And like I said before, the colors, the mood of the light is like right on point with autumn, but then you notice the scary elements in it, the head specifically. I would probably with this one I would push it a bit more with the spacing of the figures. Maybe it could have more dramatic effects if there was like more depth between the different characters. Trying to have a bit more of a variety between the spacing. How to say, in terms of like the main figure in the middle and the distance between the figures on the sides, both of them are same distance from the camera, both of the figures on the sides, and the distance from the middle figure between them is like super similar. So I would maybe try to differentiate a bit with the two figures on the sides. It would probably push it more for a dramatic effect, because your idea of this is like super dramatic with the head there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all sort of mirroring each other, and I think it would have, like Iveta says, more impact if they were different from each other. The thing that I was saying earlier, you know, like I love seeing process, man. It's really cool to see just how you think about it, you know, and like how do you come to the conclusion. And a little bit more about for us as a studio, it's like Ben and Iveta knows this, but we're pretty rigorous on having a clean and solid process to make sure that we approach the pipeline in a solid way and when we make images. And I think looking at this and looking at your original vision, I think you did a great job in staying true to the essence of it and improving on it in areas that wasn't like destructive to the overall direction from the start, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, thank you very much, man.
Mm.
Yeah, it's I didn't use many that structured workflow and before, and yeah, it's a deal changer. It's I don't know. It feels like it's faster and also less stressful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You sort of have clear checkpoints for yourself to know like what you solve a problem at a time, and I think if the process isn't controlled, which I think some fantastic artists have just a chaotic process, but they're so fucking good it doesn't matter. But I think it's always better having it more controlled. Then you sort of know at each stage and each step what problem you're trying to solve and not worrying about everything at once, which is great.
Agreed.
Cool. Do you have any questions or thoughts for us? Do you want us to look at any other piece, or do you have anything else you're wondering about?
Well, yeah, as I said before, I have some trouble with storytelling and trying to, and also I feel like my pieces are like super generic. I went to an event like not that long ago, and yeah, I realized this. Like my portfolio is super generic, right? And I'm trying to look for things to tell, you know. And I also have some trouble with depth in my illustrations as well, in the more technical aspect. So that's where I'm at, and I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts on like my portfolio overall, like not going like all the pieces right, but maybe see if it's consistent, and I don't know if it's solid, but I feel like it's not interesting. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Maybe
Honestly,
it's so broad of a question. Sorry.
I think when you think about the first thing you said with the images not being that interesting, I think it really comes down to you as an individual. So all of us experience life, and everything that we like in life are super different from another artist. And I think that's where uh, the interest comes to your portfolio, is that you have to think about who you are, what you want to tell other people. You have to think about the narratives that you want to highlight, and that might make it more of a more interesting portfolio. Rather than doing someone else's story, you have to like think about making your own story. If it can be always, also it doesn't have to be like a deep idea. It can be just like if you like girls on motorcycles, you can think about doing a series of those illustrations, and I'm sure people will really like it because it comes from you liking it a lot. So it really shows in the finished artwork.
Yeah, and I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead, Daddy.
And I think the way Vetas is so true, and it's like I notice for myself every time I move to a new place or like sort of like a new phase in life happens, the art changes. You know, it's never the same. And trying to find subject matter you like I love slice of life. Some people think slice of life is fucking boring, like someone just texting on their phone or waiting for the bus. I think those moments are super exciting, you know, and it's like it's really relatable. And I think whatever that thing is that you like, whether there's girls on motorcycles or someone waiting for the bus in the rain, trying to find that thing that is yours and just going deep and just exploring that as much as possible. Because I think when I look at your portfolio, it feels like trying to cover a broad spectrum, which is great. But from what you're saying, it feels like you're doing it because maybe you feel like you have to do it more than you're excited about doing it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree with all. You guys said it all. I have nothing else to say.
Cool.
I look all these portfolio. I think you explored many type of section, uh, character design, illustration, animals, sci-fi. I think they are good, good exploration. to not just do just your comfort zone. Just try to do something else that's not your comfort zone. I think it will help you be better or explore more, like to more be more understanding and not just do your comfort zone. I think that will push you a little bit more higher level and not just stay at the same level. Back then I used to draw a lot of girls, but now I draw more something else. That's why I don't show Atey on my portfolio.
You should show it. All right, we'll talk later about it. I want to see it. Cool. All
Yeah,
right. Yeah, go ahead.
also one last thing. Could you open the one with the witch, like the
Which one? This one?
yeah, this one, yeah, witch biker. So it applies to all of your portfolio. I'll just say it very quickly, but it has a lot of bright lights. I mean bright colors. So I would say try to use both contrast everywhere with values, with colors, contrast with details, just on certain areas, not throughout all of the image. And that might help you with the depth question that you asked before. And if Ate could scroll down to the very bottom, I just want to say that like this thumbnail for me looks very cool, and I think it would have looked cool if you left what was working in the thumbnail in the final image as well.
This one?
No, the bottom one with the
Oh,
design. Yeah,
yeah,
this one.
yeah,
I think it
yeah,
looks very nice.
yeah.
Well,
Cool.
thank you. Yeah, I've gotten this feedback before. Like, you mean saturation of the colors?
Yeah,
Like,
brightness of vibrance, I guess. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
saturation and light of it.
yeah. I'll try to be more mindful of that. It's just sometimes I start rendering and you stop thinking. Like, there's so much that I want to tackle that I always end up like forgetting things. And I'm so lucky that I have some amazing artists around me that can, focus me. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. I forget things that I should know and that I know. But in the midst of the battle, I'm losing it
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
always helps to just see it from afar
yeah,
when creating the image. Just sometimes take time to like step away from the computer. Even going to the bathroom or taking a break of like coffee, and you go back after those like 10 minutes, and it instantly you see like your mistakes, like, oh, what was I doing here? Just like having those little breaks also might help you to see the broader.
Yeah, you come back to the illustrations and you cringe. Oh no, what I was doing.
We all feel it.
We all have the same path. You're not
Mm.
alone.
cool. All right, Santi. Thank you again for taking part of the contest.
Oh
And
no, it's been
hopefully
a pleasure.
feedback was helpful.
Yeah, it was, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay. Enjoy your Friday evening.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
too,
Santi, and
guys.
Okay.
congratulations.
Thanks.
See ya.
See you, man.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Enjoy the weekend.
You too.
There you go.
Cool.
All right, so for our last portfolio review, they were not unfortunately able to make it because of work conflicts,
Yep.
scheduling conflicts. So we'll just be reviewing it, and then hopefully they're able to watch later.
Yeah. Sounds good.
It will
Cool.
be.
Who wants to
Wait a
start?
minute. It'll be this one. Oh, let me repost it.
Is it
I'll
the one I
tag
have
you.
up on the screen?
It's yes, it's that one.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to start?
I can start with this one. Um, I really like the colors. The fact that it's very monochromatic color scheme with the yellow and brown, and then the blue added as an accent, it really like makes a huge impact on the viewer as a first um, at a first glance. Um, I did really like also the sketches that are a bit lower, and I actually prefer the one that they had before with the further view, because at first when I saw this image, I thought that this is not a spider, this is a tree, a creature that is capturing the butterfly.
Mm.
So maybe some clarity could be
I read it as a
clarity
tree though.
from. Yeah, no, it's just like a spider, I think,
Ah, okay, okay.
or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Because I read it as like a fusion between a tree and a spider, because you have the
That
leaves and
could
like
be it
it's
then, yeah.
Mm.
Because in the previous thumbnail, that's why I thought maybe it's just a spider climbing the tree. Is that it seems like they have separate legs
yeah.
on the thumbnail above. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, the first thumbnail, I think it looks more a spider, and the second is leaning more to a tree,
Mm.
a human.
Irregardless of that, as a piece, I think it is creepy, but it's really well done. You know, I think the story and the framing, it's like you see, because like when I look at it, it's like this beautiful butterfly, and they're like, oh my god, what is happening? It's gonna get eaten. You know, um, it's just I love the colors, love the use of blur. Definitely has the autumn vibes with a darker twist to it. It's just really, really cool piece, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I really love this piece also. This look really amazing rendered, and the focal point on the butterfly and the character, and the rendering looks fantastic. Uh, just the form and the character itself. I think it took me a little bit time to read what kind of creature this is.
Yeah.
I think I will like revisit this more to make it more interesting to tell the viewer what kind of character this is, because I kind of have a hard time reading what kind of character this is. Sorry. Other than that, I think this looks amazing piece so far. Really amazing.
It kind of looks like Heimerdinger. Kind of cute
A
with the
little
big
bit.
eyes.
A little bit.
I think I can see the bang from the forehead, or is
Mm.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really cool piece. And I think as well, like, I love seeing the thought process, Uh, it's just really awesome to see, when you have an idea and only 10 seconds to record it. But yeah, it's also cool to see the inspiration for the image. I
Mm.
think as a whole, it's like uh, really, really well done. I think if we're gonna go a little bit nitty gritty, uh, taking the time to really tighten up some of these corners and edges is gonna help a lot in the long run. We don't have to have everything super refined, but I think there's some of these where it's getting just a little bit too messy, especially around the focal point when we consider like this is gonna be the highlight, right? So. And probably I would have separated out the values on the fangs just a little bit more value-wise there, and color-wise there, and hue there. They're getting a little bit close to the bark of the tree.
Mm.
Do you want to look at any other of his pieces? Do you want to add anything on this?
I want to add to another piece in the portfolio.
Okay.
It's the Forgotten Creation one. Yeah, this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I saw
So
this one.
in the I really like it. The rendering is super cool, and the whole scene of it is like very magical. I enjoy it a lot. One thing that I would suggest is being careful with the visual effects, because sometimes they can mess with your clarity of the image. And I think reading into this one, it takes a lot more time to actually see like the design elements, like her backpack of the hourglass, and the statue that she's taking energy from. Those are kind of lost to the motion blur that you added. So while it does work on the central composition of the image that we looked at before, the contest one, I feel like this one is kind of losing some of the clarity of the narrative with the effects. I don't know. Do you guys agree with me? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I
no, I
agree.
agree. I'm just looking at the previous versions,
I will,
where I think like here you had something really cool, and here it went a little bit too much over the top, you know, with the VFX. And I think I think like we said before, it's like you know, contrast, lighting, VFX, it's all we gotta use it like um, carefully, right? And choose the areas we want to emphasize, and really put that love and care in that spot, you know. Because if it's in one location and it's concentrated, it is really cool. If it's everywhere, it is not as cool, you know. And that goes for like every aspect of the image, you know. So it's something just to think about.
mm. I would also like to add about the lights. I think the thumbnails looks very promising. The black and white, the second one, it looks very fantastic. But if you look on the finished one, I think it's a little bit too much overuse of the lights, and you're losing a little bit of the value, the actual value from the thumbnails, especially her magic part sucking the statue. It's a little bit blending into the background. It's a little bit hard to read compared to blending into the light here. So it's I don't know. I think you can try to stay to the thumbnails that you did and not overuse it too much. And also the reflection on her shoulder. I think it's a little bit shiny and too much light. Also the cloak and the hair. Try to minimize a little bit and not overuse it too much. I think other than that, it's really amazing piece.
Yeah, adding to Ben, maybe simplifying it to a point of one sentence. Try to have like a primary light source and a secondary one, and
Yep.
so that they don't compete with each other.
Yeah. All right.
I have a
think we.
couple. Sorry, I have a couple questions from them.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
For their portfolio, they're working on a Riot illustration internship application, and currently working on 2 splash illustrations. But they'd like to know, one, what pieces to keep or remove from their current portfolio, and then two, what could they add to make their application stronger? Do they need just one very polished illustration, or is it better to have several works that showcase different skills?
Was it for splash illustration
Uh,
or
it
just
just says
illustration?
illustration, but they are working on splash illustrations for the application.
Yeah, if it's illustration, what you want to do, get rid of everything that isn't. Like, you know, this feels so off from everything else in the portfolio. Like, considering you want to go for illustration route, this is leaning more towards texture or design. Sorry. Like, this is great. This is cool. This is also cool. This one's cool. That was like, I think this stuff can keep, but I don't think it's the most exciting. I think this one you can probably also get rid of if you want to go more illustration route. Because there's some pieces here that really stands out. I actually really like this one. Uh, and there's some of them that don't quite have the same punch and relevance if you want to do illustration.
Okay. I think, yeah, I think that covered
What?
the whole question.
Oh, what about Benny Vetta? Do you want to add anything to it?
No, I agree.
Yeah,
Okay.
You said everything, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, all good.
Cool. Okay.
We have a couple more questions earlier from the chat. As we move on to our Q&A, somebody asked, how can they maximize learning with each drawing slash study?
How can they maximize to learn?
Yeah, the question was, how can I maximize my learning with each drawing slash study?
I think maybe when the right approach to studying should be have an idea of what you want to learn. So just have a purpose for the study. Don't just do studies mindlessly. Really think about what you are doing at the moment. You have to be very focused to learn.
Mm. Yeah, I think I also agree. If you want to learn doing the character design, then just focus on the character anatomy, proportion, pose, and etc. That has character is related. Uh, I think that will be a good way to approach.
Yeah, I think having a clear focus with each single study. I want to add one more thing is like I would think of it as like try to really push yourself to the max when you're practicing. Not necessarily on one image, but it's like I think of it as exercising in the gym, you know? Whenever this is just my mindset, right? But like, whenever you're doing the exercise in the gym, you keep going at it until you can't do it anymore. And I think that's like to really try to get the most of it when you do these exercises. Like imagine you're bench pressing it until you can't bench press anymore, and then you rest, right? And the next time when you come back, your muscles, your mind has sort of recovered, and you're ready for like another round. You're going to be able to push it even more, and it's just trying to increase the difficulty of the studies you do, and so you'll be able to like absorb much more complicated information as possible. Because one thing I see a lot with people who do studies, it's really easy to sit down and paint something because you like the picture, you know, and that is super fun. But if you want to be like Iveta said, like you want to really improve, you should have a clear purpose why you're practicing this, and really try to like make the absolute most of that study.
Yep.
Oh, great answers. Next question is, did you ever feel a moment in your journey when you leveled up your skills, and what led to that?
Sorry, can you take that again?
Did you ever feel a moment in your journey when you leveled up your skills, and what led to that?
Oh, I, for me, I think I don't really realize that I have feel like I have level up. Instead, I feel like I want to like I still do the improve part all the time, and I don't feel like I'm addicted to or uh, be like consistently telling myself, "Oh, I improve," instead that I just want to enjoy it and take my time to learn and stuff. If that's if that the answer.
What about you, Iveta?
um, Trying to think. Maybe. So I also don't have like those a lot, these type of things, but maybe with the moth lady that I did before the illustration, I thought that like wow, I hit something new because I added a new process into my image creation, which was actually thinking about the energy that I want to put into the image, how to say the whole theoretical side of the image, like not me just sitting there and rendering the image, but thinking about what I wanted to transfer, like the story, I guess. Just the whole thinking process separately from the actual doing of the image is when I thought that maybe I figured it out. But yeah, I don't also really get these like, oh, I see I leveled up moments.
I'll give a different answer on this. Actually, one of your pieces, Iveta. I was following the work of Iveta for a while, and I was like, "Is she ready? Not yet, not yet." You know. And then there was this one piece, the Valorant piece. I was like, "She's ready. We gotta talk to her." And it was like within that piece, I felt like the way you're framing stuff, compositionally, stylistically, you sort of added something new to your your arsenal of skill sets that I think was like just the next step in your skill set, which is super cool to see.
Thank you.
Yeah. For those who is watching, Atey is watching you guys, so
Yeah, apparently.
he has the third eyes. So he be like, I'm waiting for you guys to cook.
Yeah, yeah,
feed me soon, and I'll hire you.
yeah,
uh,
It's funny because I did that piece because I really liked the game. So yeah,
yeah,
it does translate, right? When you do what you like, not for doing to showcase your skill for getting a job.
yeah, yeah. Cool. Do you have any more, Abby?
Yeah. So, how much time do you usually spend in the thumbnail phase? Is it they feel like they always get stuck on it for too long?
mm,
I'm not the good person to answer this. It's the stage that I hate the most. I have to think so much. I'm really lazy myself, so I try to focus a lot on the thumbnails so I can do it quicker.
mm.
So just like a few days maybe on them.
I will also say, take your time, because this first pass is like the brainstorming. Like you use all your brain to explore, and the next process that you like the most, because that will be the key one to your whole next the rest of the process. So I think that you focused a lot on thumbnails.
Yeah, it's the most important step on thumbnails, but I think to answer it from a different perspective as well, like in our day to day, you know, like say we have 10 days to finish an illustration, we sort of need to keep in mind what is realistic within that time frame to spend on it, which if we have a 10-day time spent to do an image, maybe 2 to 3 days. But if we have like 7 image, you can do 20 days on thumbnailing, you know. So it's just relevant how much time you're going to spend on the final image. But if you're in the learning stage, spend, like Ben said, as much time as possible, you know. Don't worry about the time so much.
Mm.
All right, next one.
All right. What does a normal day as a character concept artist at Envar look like?
That's for
I
you,
think
Ben
you
and
know more
Iveta.
this.
You two
Um,
answer it.
Go Iveta.
go Ben.
Ladies first.
um, how to say all of this? It depends on the project, really. Every project is different because usually the clients are different, and it's a very specific to each and every brief, like how we approach the subject. Was it for character concepts or just concepts?
For
Like
character concept.
I think everything that you would do it as as a student, we also do it. So the thumbnailing phase, like the sketching phase, finding good references, something interesting, thinking about what we want to showcase in the concept, maybe some groundbreaking ideas. Searching for those takes a bit of time.
Mm.
Yeah. Evan, do you want to help me with this?
Can we take the question again? I kind of forgot.
Oh, it's
My bad memory.
what does a normal day as a character concept artist at Envar look like?
I think is Iveta said most of them. So yeah, I think you. I don't know what to say. You said it all.
Yeah,
uh,
the sketching ideation, and then we
yes.
go further from there, right?
Yeah.
And taking feedback and applying them. How do you make the client pleased? And taking feedback from the AD. Yeah, that's how pretty much you draw, take feedback, and do over. If it's not working, do over. It's also more of variation of style, what kind of project you are working on. If you're working on cartoonic or more realistic or more stylized, that also depends. And I also encourage to do variation of art style. That will also increase your chance of getting into studio. Because people look or Atey looking at people who can do variation of style. So he's got that eye, so he'll be emailing you guys soon. So if you guys do good work.
Cool. Let's go for next.
All right.
Maybe one or two more questions, Abby.
Yes. So, when submitting a portfolio for an illustration job, how important is it to include the various stages of the process, or is it better to just have all highly rendered pieces?
I think we touched on that earlier, but like for me, I want to see how you come to the conclusion. It's the end result is it's really important, but it's like how did you end up there? Did you get like did you do a really tight drawing? Was it a messy process? Because if you have like a really cool image, but the process is super messy, I can't tell if you got there by accident or whatever it is. Like I need to see that you got there by making conscious decisions. So seeing the process is really critical for me at least from my point of view.
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
I guess. Oh, yeah. One last question.
Yep.
How do you make the decision to move to a company or pursue new opportunities? Our company I work for is really great, but I feel like my art hasn't been improving as much as I want to.
I think it's a different question about the art not being improving. I think it's on you, not the company. So I think it's a bit of two different things here. When you feel ready to go in to go pursue something else is
Yeah, I also agree with that one. It's also up to you if you what you want to pursue, what kind of the art style or the company, or I think that's you to just decide. I think yeah, I think I agree with Iveta with that.
I think as well, it's like, think about it like this, even if the company or the task isn't what you want to do, try to make the most of it, right? You're going to be there anyway. You're going to be there during the time. Just try to grow as much as possible. Like, I have a bad example, but like, I started, one of my first jobs was like, I was an office assistant. I like shapes and patterns. I kept stacking up the fruits in different shapes and patterns whenever it was delivered. You know, they told me, "Oh, it's a waste of time. We're gonna eat it anyway." But no, for me, it was like it was a small thing that I was like, I'm gonna practice a little bit of abstraction with this fruit. You know, uh, and even though it was a tiny thing, I felt it was helping a little bit on where I wanted to go. And I would just encourage you always try to uh, whatever it is, whatever company or job you have, anything that you can do the most out of the time there because you're there, just do it. You know, it's better than just trying to like roll your thumbs or something because, um, you know, to get the next opportunity, it's gonna come when the work or you're sort of ready. You know, and the only way to get ready is just putting in the time, even though the situation might not be ideal. In most cases, it's never ideal. To be super honest, I don't know if Ben and Iveta, you guys want to add anything to that, but
No, you said it. You said it all.
Yeah, yeah.
cool. Are we done then?
Yes, that was the last question.
Okay. Thank you, Abby, for helping us organize this. Thanks everyone for joining in and listening and submitting all your fantastic work. There were so many cool submissions. It's a shame we can't look through all of them and review them all, but we'll try to definitely do something in the future as well.
Yeah, I saw all of the portfolio. Some of you didn't win. I still saw your work, and it's really fantastic. And I will encourage to do more and draw more, and you'll be good eventually.
Yeah, I really encourage everybody to always work on our contests and our challenges. It really just puts you on our radar. So yeah, we just love seeing all your work, and you know, like we said earlier, Atey is always watching.
Third eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you keep an eye out. We'll have another challenger contest probably after the holidays, but we'll see. So yep, keep an eye on our socials, our Twitter, Instagram, and our Discord as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the reviewers today. And we'll catch you guys again another time. Happy holidays,
have a nice
everyone.
weekend.
Thank you all for joining.
Bye.
Have a fantastic weekend.